Hey, how's it going? Today I wanted to show off two Purgator builds I've been cooking up. I've got one that is a more AoE centric build that focuses on the unique trait of this weapon, and then another that's just pure damage into crit and everything, trying to get as big a number as possible. But I should preface this by saying the Purgator is not the best weapon out there. If you're looking for something that can clear rooms for a lot less Forma, there are so many options that are better than the Purgator, but I just think it's a cool weapon that makes cool noises, and it's funny to see realistic weapons in the hands of Warframes, so I decided to dump 8 Forma into mine, along with a Riven, so keep that in mind. This is not the best gun out there. I just built it because I think it's cool, and I want to make it usable in higher level gameplay, and this is the build I cooked up, so yeah, we can go into the builds. This is the first build. It's a blast-based build. I think of the two builds, this is the one that's way more usable in general gameplay. This is the mod setup. We're going for a little multi-shot, a lot of crit, and then I have a Riven with heat and crit chance. If you don't have a Riven, then you can just throw a heat mod on there and you'll still get the blast. You'll just get a little less crit damage, which isn't the end of the world. We're also running Primary Crux for a little bit of ammo efficiency, and the status chance is a nice bonus. With the Purgator, you pretty much have to address the ammo in some way, just because this thing has so little ammo. It has a magazine of 9 and a stock of 20, so you can burn through it super fast, even at its 1.5 fire rate. So you have to address it somehow. I decided to go with Crux because that bonus to status chance is a nice bonus. But you could also go Vigilante Supplies or Ammo Drum if you want, but then you wouldn't get Terminal Velocity, which I like on this thing because the projectiles are a little slow, but it's cool, come on man! Yeah, we can show off some of the damage, and do some Corrupted Heavy Gunners. And again, this is without any type of priming or buffs from the frames or companions, so this is just raw damage. You can see it does pretty well just on its own against these Corrupted Heavy Gunners. Of course, these are headshots, which are sometimes easier said than done depending on the enemy, but it definitely does a lot of damage. Alright, and this is the second build. This one isn't as fleshed out as the first. The goal of this build is to just do as much single target damage as possible, which it does a lot of. We're dropping Galvanized Chamber and Prime Cryo rounds for internal bleeding and Primary Acuity. Basically the whole goal of this build is just a ton of single target damage, and it accomplishes that. You can get some pretty crazy gas clouds going with this. We also actually drop Primary Crux for Primary Deadhead just for more damage. Also, something I forgot to mention, you can drop Internal Bleeding for Prime Firestorm, which will give you a bigger AoE on the gas cloud, which is potentially better for this build. If we're fully leaning into one-shotting enemies, you'd want a bigger cloud than the extra slash damage when you don't one-shot, but we can go into the damage before my Deadhead stacks run out. What? That was a one-shot. There we go. Okay. And then, yeah, once you actually start getting one-shots, then the gas clouds can go crazy. Although, even still, they don't do that much. I mean, it's doing 60,000, which is nothing to scoff at. But again, with this Acuity build, you can get overrun by enemies relatively easily, just because your single target damage, you're only shooting one shot per 1.5 shots per second, so, and if it's not a headshot, then you're losing a lot of your damage. So this build is kind of more of just a meme of seeing how high you can get with damage. some weaker enemies. See, we get some corrupted butchers. Oh. Oh my gosh. Some corrupted butchers. And get some big numbers going. You can see the gas clouds are a lot stronger now with that. So to give my closing thoughts on this, the Purgator. Well, we've got some gameplay in the background of me doing a Steel Path Omnia Fissure with the Blast build. It's not the best, definitely not the worst though. Like I said earlier, the second build, the Acuity build, is definitely a bit more of a meme build, just to get big numbers, but you could definitely make it work with Prime Firestorm getting bigger gas clouds and more AoE, but I just find myself using the blast and gas build more often. It's way more sustainable, I think, and you're less likely to get overrun with this build, I've found. I mean, it still can happen because if you're not hitting headshots, then you're not one-shotting, and then you're not stopping enemies, and you can just get overrun pretty quick. But it's still a pretty fun weapon. I tried to optimize the blast build as much as I could, but if you have any suggestions on how it could be further optimized or made stronger, let me know in the comments, because I would love to make this thing stronger than it already is. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the build, enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.